just to note that in the Māori calendar today, it's Oturu, Rākau Nui, Rākau Mātohi Day, High Energy Days. Good day for gathering for special occasions. And being in the new Māori New Year, it's also good just to reflect on where we've been over the last year, and we were going through in terms of our new conversations for this year. So we welcome you here tonight. To start off, I'll do a karakia that talks about what we're experiencing right outside here. The cold, the wind, the wets, the winds that are blowing onto the lands, the winds that are blowing onto the seas. The new days and the glimpse of a new day through the dawn, which gives us a glimpse of the day ahead. Today, well, tomorrow we hope it's another glorious day, and so that'll be our karakia for this evening. Sorry, excuse me. And then a short mihi to us all gathered here again this evening. Your part again, when you hear the words, tūturu o whiti whakamaua kia tina, your response is tina. Okay, so let's have a practice as we do. Tūturu o whiti whakamaua kia tina. Haumi e hui e. Very good, very good. We've learned over the past year. So looking back, we haven't done too bad on the karakia. So here we go. Kei noi tātou, let's give thanks. Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te tonga. Kia mākina kina ki uta, kia mākina kina ki tai. E hiake ana te atakura, he tio, he huka, he hauhu. Tūturu o whiti whakamaua kia tina. Haumi e hui e. That karakia actually means whatever winds blow our way, whatever season we're going through, whether it be a cold, dry, wet season, whatever the winds, tomorrow is always going to be a glorious day for each and every one of us. So that was our prayer this evening, or our blessing on our time. Nō reira, i ngā mana, i ngā reo, ka timata au pienei. Kia hiwara, kia hiwara. Kia hiwara ki tēnei tuku, kia hiwara ki tērā tuku. Kia tū, kia oho, kia matara, tihei mauriora. Te mea tuatahi, māku ka mihi tonu, ki te kaihanga o te rangi o te whenua, ko ia te timatanga me te haka o tinga o ngā mea katoa. Nō reira, ka huri anō ki tō tātou nei kingi Māori, kingi tūheitia, ka noho ana ia i runga te ahurewa tapu o ngā mātua, o ngā tūpuna, nā ka mihi tonu ki te kāhui ariki, me ki rire hau, pai marire. Ka huri anō ki a rātou kua wheturangitia. Rātou e piata ata mai i runga te rangi. Rātou o te kāhui wairua, kua huri tuara mai ki a mātou, kua haere ki tērā kāinga tūturu mo taua nei te tangata, ki Hawaii ki nui, Hawaii ki roa, Hawaii ki pāmamau. O ki oki i roto te ringa kaha o te atua. Nā nai homai, nā nai tango whakamoi me titia, ai hoa i ngā wā katoa. Nō reira, koutou mā, nā tangata mai ngā hau e whā, a tēnei te mihi ki a koutou, ko tai mai koutou ki te hakarongo, ki te kōrero o tāmaki makaurau, tāmaki herenga waka, tāmaki herenga tangata. Nō reira, tēnei te mihi ki a koutou, hara mai, nau mai, whakatau mai. Greetings to us all as we gather here in another Auckland conversation. I welcome you here to this place, Tāmaki Makaurau, Tāmaki, the place where people love to be. Tāmaki herenga waka, Tāmaki, the place where the waka landed. Tāmaki herenga tangata. One thing about Mātariki, two things that I bring to you. Mātariki, āhunga nui. Mātariki brings people together. Mātariki whiria te tangata. Mātariki, a time where it weaves people together. And so again, we come to this conversation this evening. We reflect, we are reminded of all those who have passed in the year, those who are twinkling stars in the night sky, those who have turned out their backs on us and gone to that place that we call Hawaii ki Nui, that place over there, Hawaii ki Roa, that place a bit further over there, Hawaii ki Pāmamao, Hawaii ki way beyond the horizon. And so we are reminded of them and their passing. May they rest in peace. But to you, the living that have arrived this evening to listen to the different conversations, we welcome you. Especially to our keynote speakers that are here tonight, we welcome you once, we welcome you twice, we welcome you 3 times. Nō reira, i ngā mana, i ngā reo, rauranga tira mā, huri no tēnā koutou, tēnā tāta katoa. No pressure, I'm just going to leave the waiata for the girls who are going to sing a bit later, so, or even their mother who's sitting in the second row. I hear she's a bit of a singer, so they will sing a song for you later on today. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, kia ora tātou katoa.
Kia ora Otene. I saw Otene at the New Zealand Institute of Architecture Awards, and I took my gorgeous wife and we saw beautiful architecture that night. We saw museums and lovely houses and beautiful creations by the best architects in the country. And at the end of the evening we were walking home and I said to her, hey, what was the best part about that evening? And she said, I was really moved by that welcome by Otene. And I said, actually, that's true. It's such a poetic start to the evening. And I think that's really fitting for today. It's great today. It's such good energy for our conversation tonight. There is one correction, Otene. You said that this was another Auckland Conversations. This is the best Auckland Conversations. We're going to outdo every other Auckland Conversation on all of the metrics. Ina mana, ina reo, I rao rangatira mā, tēnā koutou katoa. Good evening, everyone. I'm Andrew Eagles, Chief Executive of the Green Building Council of New Zealand, and I'll be facilitating the conversation with you, with the panellists tonight. So I've just got some small matters to get through before we start hearing questions in that conversation. We're really proud, Auckland Council, to be providing a night to inspire and stimulate your thinking about the challenges facing Auckland. And I've lived in quite a few different cities. I think it's really special that these evenings are held. Tonight we'll welcome a panel of experts to discuss why density is so important in designing and planning a sustainable future for Auckland. And today, really importantly, we're also launching the Auckland Climate Action Framework. You hear more about that throughout the evening. So thank you for joining us. Again, it looks like it's almost sold out, so that's a fantastic turnout. Obviously, there's real interest in this subject. We also welcome those of you joining online who are watching Auckland Conversations through the website. So first, a few housekeeping matters. In the unlikely event of an emergency, an alarm will sound and will be directed out of the building by our ushers. Bathrooms are located outside the room through the foyer where you might have had a drink or something to eat. And in the likely event of an awesome statement, I would ask you to give a round of applause to the panellists and to support that. I will, just to encourage you, I'll be holding up a sign now and then to suggest applause. That will be, thank you for that demonstration, John. So that will be to someone who I think deserves applause. I think we use the word awesome too much. So I'm on a campaign to change, when we say the word awesome, to change it to say Kane Williamson. And as part of that, I'd like you to support me by, when I put up the sign, Kane Williamson, I'd like a round of applause. Great, so we'll try again. We'll see who's quick on the uptake. Great. Awesome, thank you. I didn't know if that would work. And finally, could you please turn your mobiles to silent, not off, because we'd like those who want to be able to tweet and ask questions via Slido. I'll give you a demonstration of that in a moment. But right now, I would really like to thank our sponsors and our Auckland partners for tonight, South Base Construction, our design partner, Resine, and all of our program sponsors. Thank you for your support. This can't happen without you. So just what's the agenda tonight? Well, it's really special because there's no big speaking slot first. We're getting straight into the conversation after a little bit of an intro from me. So the format for the panel tonight is questions from the floor and online. So just on Slido, we'll be using Slido, which is an interactive question and answer tool for your questions. So if you have a smartphone, we encourage you to visit www.slido.com, so SLIDO.com, and enter the event code density. There was silence in the room. And ask your question. Yes, that's DENSITY, if that was an issue. We will get through as many of these as we can, but importantly, I'll be taking questions from you raising your hand as well. So there'll be hands, there'll be Slido, there'll be things thrown, all sorts of things. So we'll be doing both. If you're not comfortable with smartphones, you can raise your hand. Please remember to make the question a question. So if it's a statement, that it's hard for the panelists to actually leverage off that. So I will remind you of that. We always try really hard to ensure that Auckland Conversations are accessible and inclusive. So on-demand viewing of the event with full transcript and captioning of the event and presentations will be available on Auckland Conversations website in the next few days. Now, on to tonight's conversation. Well, first of all, does all that make sense? Yes. Yep, okay, great. Everyone's into their phones. On to tonight's conversation. So two really important things are happening today. First of all, just to touch on this, because it's a pretty amazing step from the Sustainability Office team of Auckland Council, the Auckland Climate Action Framework has been launched. Hurrah! Yeah, and it does deserve a bit of whooping. That has taken a mere 18 months worth of work, a huge amount of feedback, a 3-day conference. Cities 40, which is a collaboration of the 40 leading cities in the world, have fed in. Mana Whenua have fed in. Government, many of you have had a say. It sets a vision for dramatic change for our city, and there are 11 key moves for change in that. So those aren't dance moves, they're fundamental changes to how we run our city. So I really, really encourage you to have a look at that and feedback. You've got until the 6th of September, and I think it's a really impressive piece of work. So thank you for everything that John, Alec, and all of the team have done there, and everybody who's fed in so far. Now, I will just touch on that briefly with Slido. So in Slido, you can ask questions, but there's also a key question for you to answer that we'd like everyone to answer. It's up there on the screen. It will be there throughout. It is, let me find that. So science says we need to cut carbon emissions by half by 2030. Do you believe we need to do this for Auckland's future? The options are yes, no, I don't know, or maybe go faster. I'm just adding that one, and that one in, you can't actually answer that. Apologies. So do answer that. We'll also have a raising of hands in relation to that. The second key thing we want to discuss tonight is density. So why is density so important in designing and planning a sustainable future for Auckland? Well, global growth is really driving growth in Auckland. People are flocking to Tamaki Makaurau to live and work, and Auckland's current population is projected to grow by 1 million people within the next 30 years. Really significant growth. This unprecedented growth is putting pressure on our communities, our housing, our transport infrastructure, as well as our environment. The quality of life enjoyed by Auckland's future generations will depend on the way we plan and design and build our city. The Auckland Plan 2050 sets the high-level direction for the future of Auckland with an emphasis on developing a quality, compact city. So I thought, in the build-up to this, with some help of a brilliant colleague, Alejandro, I looked at some figures quickly to just compare where Auckland was relative to other cities. It's quite startling. So Auckland, New Zealand has 1,210 people per square kilometre. Do you think that's more or less than Philadelphia and Stockholm? More, put your hand up. Less, put your hand up. Yeah, exactly. So the differences are quite stark. Philadelphia and Stockholm, 4,800 people per square kilometre for about 1.5 million people. Vienna, 5,700 people per square kilometre. Brussels and London, they go similar to Vienna, about 5,500 people per square kilometre. And historic cities like Barcelona, 16,000 people per square kilometre for 1.6 million people. I mean, what? Far out. I don't know. Yeah, that's quite something. So just we've been thinking about density a little bit. So some positives, right? It increases health because people spend less time in their cars, and that's really beneficial. There's actually a really strong study showing that reducing your commuting time reduces the likelihood of divorce, which is positive. Some people might argue it's something else, but it arguably increases the ability of councils to provide community infrastructure, libraries, sports centres. It makes better public transport easier. Anyone who's been to London knows that. Auckland's growing at 750 people per week. We need to get people around. Reduces transport emissions. It leaves more urban space, more rural space for the growing of our food, which is important for south of Auckland. It lowers infrastructure costs. But there are challenges, so we might not have as much green space per home. That's something we need to get used to. We need to think about noise in between our neighbours and getting that right. We need to design well. And we need to think really deeply about things like surface water runoff and other challenges we face, especially as our climate changes. So density needs to be done well. There's a loss of private amenity, but it could be made up by community amenity, and it needs to be planned. Transport needs to be decent. Homes need to be quality. But I think what's really impressive, and you'll hear from John and Penny and others about some of these matters, is we are going in the right direction. So I know, for instance, that since the unitary plan, there's been a 20% growth in the units of housing provided in the terraced and apartment building zones since the unitary plan. And this is really positive, a move in the right direction. So there's lots to discuss in there, and I look forward to your thoughts. At the New Zealand Green Building Council, we champion density through the tools Homestar and Green Star communities, but we think we've really got to get it right